quickly. So we've got Eileen from Whitstable, we've got Nads, hello Vidyamala and everyone, and we've got Lorian from California, Lizzie from Old Tupton, Valerie from Brussels and Belgium, and Dorota from London. Yeah, it's really wonderful the way we get people from all over. We've got Katya from Switzerland, Caroline from Devon, Kate in West Yorkshire, Katie from Cheltenham, Osteo Town. Yes, that's exactly where I've just been. Suffolk, California, Santa Cruz in California, London, Hampshire, Glasgow, Sweden. Fantastic, good. So yeah, wonderful that we've all come together and that modern technology enables this, which is fantastic, isn't it? So I thought what we would do today is a simple body awareness practice, a simple breath awareness practice, a chance just to drop inside, rest inside breathing, soften the body, soften the heart, soften the mind. And there's this beautiful quote from Lao Tzu, who says that what is soft is strong, and that water is stronger than rock, which is very, very interesting because, of course, water can completely wear away rock over time. And very often we think to be strong, we've got to be sort of braced. But this very deep truth that if we can rest inside something more fluid and softer and more open, perhaps that's where real strength lies. So I thought that's what we'd do today. Rest inside this breathing body, this fluid breathing body with this mind, which is perhaps softer than you realize, a heart that's perhaps softer than you realize. And if you've got pain or illness or discomfort, that can sometimes feel very rigid and tight. So this practice will be a way to soften up the hard edges. Okay, so if we set ourselves up in our posture, you can do this sitting, you can do it lying down, you can do it standing, you can do it walking. The main thing is to be intentional about how you position your body and really ask yourself right now, what's going to serve me in terms of being as alert as possible and yet also as comfortable as possible. And then when you've chosen your position, beginning to settle. Got a squeaky chair as well, but I'll try and not move, obviously. Good. You can close your eyes if you want to. Otherwise, lower your gaze. And beginning to allow the body to settle down into the position that we've chosen. Letting go of what we've just been doing and letting go of what's coming next. And let's see if we can begin to arrive a little more deeply in the body in the moment. And to help this, if you'd like to, you could take a few deeper in-breaths, and then on each out-breath, arrive and settle and let go a little bit more. And then when you're ready, allowing your breathing to find its own natural rhythm. An opening phase in the body on the in-breath, and then a subsiding phase in the body on the out-breath. Now let's tune into the contact between the body and the surface that it's resting upon. And seeing if we can allow the weight of the body to drop down through those points of contact. If we're sitting, this will be the bottom on the chair and the feet on the floor. If we're lying down, it'll be the back of the body. back of the head, back of the legs and the feet, depending on how you positioned your legs. For standing, it'll be the soles of the feet. Let's let the arms rest. So if we're sitting, having the hands supported in the lap or on the legs, allowing the shoulders to drop down and back a little bit, resting into gravity. And if we're lying down, having the elbows resting on the floor of the bed and the hands resting either on the body or at the sides of the body, choosing a position for the arms that will allow the shoulders to release. And as the weight of the body drops downwards, sometimes there can be a sense of the body releasing a little bit into space, into length, and into space all around. It's as if we're releasing the tight gripping a little bit, and the body gets a bit bigger, lighter, more spacious, particularly on the in-breath. There's this opening quality on the in-breath and this yielding and resting quality on the out-breath. So to deepen this experience of being in the body, let's just check in on how we're feeling emotionally and mentally. Is it taking us away from our experience, or is it enabling us to drop a little deeper? So having a sense of the emotional weather that's present, how you're feeling right now. Allowing it into awareness with receptivity and with kindness. Maybe see where these emotions are mapped in the body. If it's tight, perhaps breathing into this area a little bit, releasing on the out-breath. And what about thoughts flowing through the mind? Seeing if we can look at our thoughts with some perspective rather than from our thoughts being completely identified with the content. So we're neither suppressing our thoughts nor getting swept away by our thoughts, just letting them come and go like clouds passing across the sky. So having a broad sense of the body, the whole body, our emotions, our thoughts, all resting in a field of awareness. All held with a kindly attitude. Beginning to notice that experience is maybe a little bit less hard-edged than we realize. Our emotions aren't static, our thoughts aren't static, and the sensations in the body aren't static. The experiences arising and passing, a little bit more like a river than a rock. See if we can get a sense of that. Now we're just going to go a little bit more deeply into the body to investigate this fluid nature of experience and to soften the hard edges. So let's allow our awareness to pour down through the body and to fill the legs and the feet. You might like to imagine that awareness is like water and it's pouring down. The legs and the feet become drenched in awareness. And seeing if we can inhabit the legs and the feet rather than thinking about them as an idea or a concept. So they'll be showing up to awareness through sensation, maybe pleasant, maybe painful, or there might be numbness, might be a quality of temperature, might be buzzing, tingling, might be lots of different things. Seeing if we can allow them all to flow through awareness, moment by moment. They arise, they pass, they arise, they pass. Their awareness is more resting in the quality of awareness itself rather than getting swept away by the individual experiences. And always meeting our experience with kindliness, whatever's happening. And the buttocks resting on the chair, the bed, the floor. Or if we're standing, just allowing our awareness to rest on the buttocks. Can we let them be soft? Resting inside sensation, arising and passing. Let's get curious now about the lower back. Allowing awareness to inhabit the lower back. The length, the breadth, the shape. Is there any expression of breathing in this area? It will be completely receptive. But maybe shape changes a little bit on the in-breath and the out-breath. Maybe the angle changes a little bit, or maybe you can't feel anything at all. allowing all this into awareness. Again, rather than thinking about the lower back, seeing if we can rest inside. The middle back and the upper back. The length, the breadth, the back of the ribs, back of the lungs, shoulder blades, spine, or landscape of the upper back being breathed. Broadening and subsiding and broadening and subsiding. See if we can rest inside that experience. Let's be aware of the whole back, the whole length, the whole breadth. Resting our awareness inside the whole back of the body. Allowing sensations to arise and pass, or any tingling or buzzing or temperature or numbness. Let it in and let it go, and let it in and let it go, like a river flowing through the moments. Now let's allow our awareness to inhabit the belly. Soft front of the body between the pelvis at the bottom and the base of the ribs at the top. Maybe it's swelling a little bit on the in-breath and subsiding a little bit on the out-breath. Maybe there's other sensations, pleasant, unpleasant, maybe there's dullness. But rather than resisting experience or getting swept away by experience, we're learning how to be with experience with a more stable awareness. So we're learning presence without falling into reactivity. This is a powerful training. And now flowing up inside the chest. We've got the lungs and the ribs and the breastbone. Breasts. Expanding and subsiding with each breath cycle. Sometimes when we become aware breathing in the chest, it might provoke temptation to alter our breathing or to start straining our breathing. Just seeing if we can let the breathing be natural. If you find it a bit agitating in any way, you can drop deeper in the body and come to the contact between the bottom and the chair or the bed. Feet on the floor, hands. And coming back to breathing in the chest if or when you feel ready. Now coming to the shoulders, at the sides of the torso, and checking that the hands are still relaxed and supported at this point. So we're not holding onto the arms with effort, and we can allow the shoulders to rest, falling away from the midline of the body, resting into gravity. And then allowing our awareness to pour down through the arms like water. Upper arms and the elbows and the lower arms. The wrists and the hands, backs of the hands and the palms of the hands and the fingers. Let's see if we can let the fingers rest in the present moment, not reaching for the future or grabbing onto the past. But we're just resting here in the here and now. And if we allow the hands and the fingers to be present, it can help the mind be present. And allowing our awareness, excuse me, allowing our awareness to flow back up through the arms, through the shoulders, coming into the neck and the head. If we're upright, let's see if the head can be poised on top of the spine. Chin tucked in just a tiny bit to release through the base of the skull, and yet there's openness in the throat. If we're lying down, letting the head be heavy and fully supported by the pillow or the cushion. Letting the jaw, tongue, lips be soft. Face soft and the eyes soft, the forehead soft. The scalp soft. Maybe getting a sense of the brain resting inside the head. Soft. Now let's broaden our awareness to be aware of the whole body. Legs, torso, arms, neck, head, face. We're not thinking about the body, but we're resting inside the body. Maybe having a sense of the whole body opening a little bit in all directions on the in-breath, subsiding a little bit in all directions on the out-breath. Natural, effortless breathing. If this doesn't work for you for any reason, you could just rest your awareness inside the whole body another way. So we're receiving all experience into our awareness. And then we're letting it pour out again. So just resting here for a moment or two to conclude the practice. Now bringing a tiny bit of movement into the body. Maybe the fingers and the toes or some other part, maybe the head a little bit. Seeing if we can keep this deeply embodied quality going, and seeing if we can keep this more fluid quality in our awareness. So as we begin to move, just noticing any impulse to immediately start gripping, contracting, tensing. Perhaps releasing the impulse back into movement. And then in your own time, coming into bigger movements, however you want to. Stretching if you want to. Oh, I just want to jiggle a little bit. Great, let me just go back onto gallery view so I can see you all. That's nice. Good. So, yes, that was really wonderful to practice with you all. And for those of you who are new, I always stay on for a little bit at the end and people put in the chat box what they noticed in the practice if they want to. And then I always read it out because we sometimes have people here who can't engage with the chat box for one reason or another. And I like everyone to be involved, of course, included. And Mark, who's our wonderful tech support person, he's put in the chat box the opportunity to become a Breathworks patron to help support our work. So there's $2.50 a month, and that massively helps us. We get a regular income like that, makes such a difference to planning and budgeting and all those things. So there's a link there if you would consider that. Good, so I'll just start reading out some of these comments. So Anne, with thanks and compassion to all. Maria, thanks so much, that was amazing. And Valerie, thank you so much, Vidyamala and Mark. Yes, so thank you so much, Mark, as well, for being here week after week. It's fantastic. And then Julie, thank you. A little distracted and stayed with that. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Yeah, so working with distraction, that's something that we encounter when we meditate, and yeah, learning to work with distractions is an important part of the practice. And Janice, that was beautiful. Thank you. Cleo, thank you, very powerful and relaxing. Victoria, thank you, with lots of emojis. Isma, thank you so much. A lovely session. And Liz, beautiful, thank you. And then Lizzie, I fell asleep, but I'm sure it all goes in as I feel so much more relaxed. Thank you. That's a really important point. I'm glad you shared that, Lizzie, because of course going to sleep is an occupational hazard when you do things like this. But I agree, I think something goes in, because I know if I go to sleep in this kind of practice, I do feel different at the end than if I just had a nap. So I think on some level, you know, we're still doing the practice, even if it's masquerading as sleep. So I'm really, really glad that you shared that with us. And then Shakti, thank you. My awareness is expanding. Yeah, that's another beautiful way of putting it, that rather than awareness being really tight and completely over-identified with content, which is how most of us live, it's like we're broadening and we're able to rest in awareness, and then the content is playing out within awareness, and we can just let it come and go and let it come and go without being so tangled up. I think we get very tangled up with experience, don't we, often? And then Simon, wonderful, gentle and kind practice. Grateful to you and all. And then August, thank you so much to the whole team. I needed it a lot more than I had realized. And then Margaret saying, please could you write the quote by Lao Tzu? I'll post it over on the Community Practice, Margaret, because I haven't got it completely to mind. But the main thing is he says, what is soft is strong. That's the takeaway message. What is soft is strong. And that water is more powerful than rock. And Victoria, I feel immense relief. And Shakijata, beautiful, didn't want it to end. And then Karen, distracted yet aware, detached yet present. I was aware of your voice, but not hearing your words. I slowly leant in more and more, grounding as the practice progressed. My neck hurts a lot this evening. I might have relaxed and yielded more if I had chosen to lay down. Thank you for the space to see what's present in the pause. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. There's so much in that. So distracted yet aware. Very important point that if we're aware of distraction, then we're not fully distracted because we're not lost. So when we're aware of anything, we're not in that experience. So you can be distracted yet aware, and then detached yet present. I was aware of your voice, but not hearing your words. And then, this is the important bit, I slowly leant in more and more, grounding as the practice progressed. So of course, that's what happens, isn't it? We start off in a state, and then just by staying with it over 10, 15, 20 minutes, we gradually become more grounded. And I love the way you've said, I leant in more and more, softened more and more. So thank you. And then you've learned maybe next time, if your neck hurts a lot, you could try lying down. See if that was easier. Yeah, I can see you there, Karen, with your lovely hat on. Katie, thank you for the reminder of just how special Breathworks meditations are, jam-packed with so much wisdom. And then Bridget, thank you for a lovely half hour. It now goes really quickly, whereas it used to feel a long time to meditate. Yeah, that's so interesting, isn't it? It's a good point. I remember when I started to meditate, half an hour would have felt an eternity. But just we stick with these things, and then half an hour is fine for most of us, I hope. So yeah, thanks for making that point, Bridget. Oh, now we've got one of Marion's wonderful poems. Dropping into space to breathe amid hustle and bustle. Busy mind, thoughts demanding space. Body tense, sharp, pain shouting. Resting into my chair, my body and awareness. Settling into stillness, body being massaged. Finding a space to breathe, to be present, to just be. Thank you. That's wonderful, Marion. I'm going to read that again. I love your little poetic offerings. Dropping into space to breathe amid hustle and bustle, busy mind, thoughts demanding space, body tense, sharp, pain shouting, resting into my chair, my body and awareness, settling into stillness, body being massaged, finding a space to breathe, to be present, to just be. Yeah, that's fantastic, Marion. Thank you so much. I can see you down there on my screen as well. And then Anne, my tinnitus less bothersome. Thank you. So again, you're saying so much in your comments. My tinnitus less bothersome. So tinnitus is obviously unpleasant, and then like any kind of pain, and then we often get bothered by the unpleasantness through our response to it. But by doing a practice like this, you're not so bothered by it. And of course, that's very liberating, isn't it? Instead of thinking I'll only be less bothered when my tinnitus goes away, it's more like, well, I can be less bothered while it's still here, which is very empowering. And then Kate, I had a beautiful moment of overwhelming gratitude, then got completely distracted. That's also part of the pattern of the mind very often. You know, we have some kind of going deeper experience and then we bounce out of it, and then we go deeper and then we bounce out of it. That just seems to be what the mind does very often. And again, we can just be aware of it. And the main thing is you've remembered your beautiful moment of overwhelming gratitude. And then Maria, soft is strong, reminds me of a quote I heard recently about not trying harder, but trying softer. Yeah, that's very good. Trying softer. And then Boogs, so grateful for this grounding space. My body now leads the way. Fantastic. And Dorota, that was a very fruitful 30 minutes. I got very engaged in the body scan while observing my thoughts floating in and out. I feel alert and rested. Thank you very much, team. Yeah, fantastic. So engage in the body scan while observing thoughts floating in and out. And you end up alert and rested. Oh, fantastic. So Vajraketi, thanks so much for Googling the quote. Water is the softest thing, yet it can penetrate mountains and earth. This shows clearly the principle of softness overcoming hardness. And then a better version, he says. What does Lao Tzu say about water? Water is fluid, soft, and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. Yeah, that's so fantastic, isn't it? It's so worth reflecting on. Because I think when we've got difficulty, we do get rigid very often. We get rigid and tight and hard, and we think, oh, this is me being strong. And actually, it's not the greatest strength if we can learn to be fluid, soft, and yielding, as he says. That will give us great strength. So thank you so much for sleuthing that out, Vajraketi. Much appreciated. And then Helen says, thank you. I've been feeling really wired recently, and this helped me to unhook from a fizzing mind. I feel set up to notice my evening now rather than it just being time between one busy work day and the next. So again, these comments tonight are so rich. So to unhook from a fizzing mind, that's a great skill to have, isn't it? To unhook from a fizzing mind. And now you can enjoy your evening, or at least notice your evening, rather than it just being this brief respite between one busy day and the next. So really, I really hope you do not only notice your evening, but enjoy your evening a little bit more. Okay, so we've got to the end of the comments, and thank you so much, everybody, for staying, and thank you for coming, and I hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you next week. And thanks again to Mark behind the scenes, although I gather he wasn't so behind the scenes last week when Karen had a broadband issue. So yeah, just wonderful team. Fantastic. Good. So if you want to unmute to say goodbye, and yeah, see you next week. Have a good week. Oops, you don't seem to be unmuting, or if I can't hear you, but that could just be me. Bye, everybody. Oh, you can't tell. It's not just me. You actually can't unmute. So you're just talking to yourselves. But we can imagine that we're hearing you all. How wonderful.